Apologies about my voice as well, but I should get through it. So I am Lee Casey. I am Head of Communications and Engagement for Science Gallery Melbourne. That's me there. My background is not necessarily in museums and galleries, so I have worked across performing arts and festivals, and the great thing about the Science Gallery Melbourne team being new is that we're all from different disciplines, different forms. We're not, I guess, a traditional museum or gallery team. So that's been a really amazing thing for us to come together and share those different insights. Science Gallery Melbourne is currently in development. We're part of a global network of galleries which was started in Dublin in 2008, and we now have 7 nodes that are in development or open. Both Dublin and London are open to the public, and the rest are now in development at various stages. So for us, our building opens towards the end of next year, 2020. It'll be open to the public in early 2021. But what we have been doing in the lead up to building a gallery, which is an amazing luxury, I must say, is doing programming around the city and with different communities and also online in order to kind of introduce ourselves to the city, but also to build an audience of young people. So Science Gallery's mission is about igniting creativity for young people through the collision of art and science. The network is guided by this principle, and all the nodes sort of sit underneath that, though are responding to local context. So it's really important for us that we don't become, I guess, the McDonald's of arts and culture, that we are responding to our local communities, that we're working directly with young people, and that our programs and our people reflect that. So for Science Gallery Melbourne, our vision is to become a creative laboratory for young people to spark big ideas. So we have a genuine commitment to including young people in everything that we do and making sure that they're reflected at every stage of the process. We also want to be, I guess, but different to a museum or a gallery. We want to be this kind of laboratory, this place where disciplines collide and intersect. And so that interdisciplinarity is really at the core of what we do. Along with believing that young people hold the creative potential to solve the world's greatest problems. And we know that young people are underserved currently by the education system in Australia. It's very siloed, it's very put into disciplines, and we want to really start to break down those barriers and really show that creativity is at the heart of everything and will be the way that we solve these future problems. So our pillars at Science Gallery Melbourne are these 4. So our program will do 3 seasons a year. We're non-acquisitive, we don't have a collection. So it'll be around these future-focused themes. Engagement, so how we work with and embed young people in our process. Research, so we are part of the University of Melbourne. So we have a commitment to showcase research, conduct live research in the gallery, and also to be a place for researchers to come and study our processes and learning. So really embedding ourselves in the education system in Australia. And so this is really at the heart, it's at the heart of everything we do, is embedding young people, that our audience is at the heart of our practice, our values and our processes. And so that's from think tanks, from a curatorial perspective. We have young people on our curatorial panel. Our staff, we employ young people. I'm not one of them, you'll be shocked to hear. We involve them in our digital planning, so our strategy, how we're going to use technology, and also in the design of the building, which has been really exciting. So we are building a brand new gallery, and having worked in different parts of the cultural sector, I think this is an incredible position to be in, to be building a gallery in this digital age. So we're not in the position that I imagine a lot of organisations are, where you're trying to retrofit your organisation, your staff, your programs to adapt to a digital age rather than building it with the kind of digital first approach. So we had a blank slate, which was really exciting, and we started to look around at what are the inspirations that we're going to use for our building, how are we going to incorporate digital, how are we going to look outside arts and culture. So we looked at places like airports, so this is LAX, retail, who I think are really excelling in terms of digital media facades and media architecture, but also as places that young people congregate and hang out and that they want to be in, which is not necessarily museums and galleries. And also fashion shows. So what we loved about this example with the drones bringing the fashion down the runway was that it wasn't tacked on, it was using technology in a way to deliver the programs. And that was, I guess, a light bulb moment for us to say, okay, inspiration is really easy, and we had a great time, but then reality hit. So competing budgets, working with a university, working with a number of government stakeholders as well is, as you all know, a bit more challenging. So we were like, okay, we could build this building that lights up, that shoots things out, that's amazing, but how is that? We all genuinely believe in the transformative power that arts and culture play. How is that adding to it? So we went back to, I guess, our 4 pillars and looked at how we can incorporate these technologies and these new innovations into our program. So this is, I guess, through our program angle, this was an exhibition that we held in 2018 around the theme of perfection. This is Harmony, who's a robot companion, which is the language we use to get the university over the line. It's actually a sex robot. And so we had Harmony in the exhibition as a way, I guess, and she was able to interact with people. So really looking at that kind of interactive through the program. This is a beautiful work by artist Patricia Piccinini, who created this work partnering with scientists and researchers from Melbourne's leading hospital. And so Graham is designed as the perfect person to survive a car crash. So as an amazing sort of giant sculpture, Graham can look quite intimidating, but then users could scan around his body using AR technology to showcase the science behind that and show what was his insides that were able to survive this car crash. This is the entry to the gallery. So those bricks that are lit up will be, so it's all brick, but those ones will be replaced by tiny screens. So again, we'll be using this as a platform to showcase what's happening inside the gallery. So for example, our first exhibition when we open will be around the theme of mental health. So we'll be using that to showcase data on both a sort of individual level, but also a macro level as well. So research is the other one. So I'll just show you a really quick video about a work that we worked with with artist Lucy McRae, partnered with a computer scientist, Dr. Niels Wouters. This work has now travelled to Dublin and a number of other places as well. So this is just a short video, I guess, showing it. It's about future of AI and also facial recognition software. This is from a news clip from the ABC.
I think it's pretty safe to say that most of us are obsessed with our smartphones, and applications like this one, Snapchat, make use of artificial intelligence to firstly recognise my face and then allow me to apply filters and funny effects to my image. Today, I'm outside the State Library in Victoria to experience another form of AI technology over here. This one is promising to give me the perfect face.
Hi.
Hello.
Welcome to the Perfection Salon. My name is Lucy. I'm going to be your guide.
The point of the biometric mirror is to have a discussion in a public arena about the implications artificial intelligence may have on our future, on culture, on beauty ideals.
Here's where the magic happens.
The first part of the treatment is to psychoanalyze the client through facial recognition, so we can tell you your age, your gender, how weird you are, how responsible you are, and then secondly, through another facial recognition photograph, merge your face into what is considered symmetrically perfect. And this is using a Maccard mask which was developed by a Hollywood plastic surgeon, which is biostatistically beautiful. And the whole point of this second part of the biometric mirror is to really ask what is perfection and who are the people who are designing the algorithms that are feeding artificial intelligence.
The technology is quite flawed because a lot of the data that artificial intelligence relies upon is crowdsourced. There's a lot of examples in the US, for instance, where it's being used in the legal system to decide, or basically to get an idea of who is more likely to re-offend than anyone else. And that's an algorithm just making that decision, and we see how it's biased, for instance, based on ethnicity.
So here's my printout.
Yep, it's a digital mask.
So I'll skip forward, but as you can see, this was a work that was based on research, and so users that came in and participated in the salon signed up and consented to their face being used in the research project as well, which is now been published. Thirdly is engagement, and I think this is the most kind of obvious one in a way, is using digital for audience engagement. It also has its challenges. We really love the live experience of the gallery. I'm very passionate about that, and so we know how important it is to not replace that, and also to not have a situation where users are walking through the museum and are just looking at their phones. So this is the foyer of our gallery. You'll see where those analogue screens are. There'll be screens that sort of showcase a dashboard of what's happening inside the gallery. So placing audience feedback and audience generated content onto those screens for visitors to start to see themselves and see their peers when they arrive. We used touch screens instead of interpretive labels a couple of years ago, and we made people work for the content. So we made them answer a question that related to the artwork, and so we're trying to really simplify the amount of content that we're feeding. So really just posing these big questions like, would you change your DNA to alter your appearance? And then we also ask them to rate their work and their sort of emotional response through emojis, which has been great. And again, we're working with researchers at the university to kind of turn that into impact content as well. And then lastly, our fourth pillar is around learning, so our education program. So what we really want to do is build a global digital classroom, and we think this is where digital can play such an important role, particularly in a big country like Australia, providing access to young people in regional and remote areas who don't have access to city centres and to these cultural institutions. So they'll have access to academic experts from the university, artists, science gallery team, but also our global network through our other gallery peers. And that's just another render of our gallery. So my learnings, which are probably I guess not as pyramid and targeted as these guys, but and you know, we're really still learning. But to me, it's not all digital all the time. I think you've got to think about how do we enhance the experience. So for me, that's really through programming. How do we incorporate the digital innovations and technology through the program and really make room for that live experience? The other thing that I think is really important is about how we resource and staff our teams. So traditional marketing teams might not necessarily have the skills to be digital experts, and I don't think we should assume that they are. I think when I started working in arts marketing, you know, I was booking print ads and posters and, you know, getting people to hand out flyers, and it's taken me a long way to come to the point where I know a little bit about this stuff. So really focus on that and resource for it, and also focus on the content, not the platforms. I think that's really important for cultural institutions. We have so so much content, and how do we really start to bring that to a new audience, and really view our audience as participants rather than, I guess, consumers or voyeurs. We really want to see them as being active and involved inside our work, and that includes digital as well. Thank you.